Every dog has a story, and every story deserves to be told.
With us, this is Savannah.
Savina.
Savina, did I pronounce your name right? Okay. And this is her cute little dog, not so little anymore. And what's his name?
No, this is Simba.
Simba.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hi, Simba.
Say hello.
All right. So this is all about Dog's Life Diary. So basically, we're interviewing dog owners just to see, what made them get the dog and how the dog has impacted their life. So I'm going to be asking you a couple of questions, and we can walk while doing
Sure.
that. All right. So the first question. Of course, you've introduced his name, Simba. And can you tell us a little bit about his breed and what made you get this particular breed?
Okay. So we were not wedded to a particular breed. We wanted to rescue a dog.
Okay.
And so we were open and wanted kind of a medium to large breed. And we went to a dog fostering event, and we just happened to find two dogs that we kind of fell in love with. We weren't thinking about getting two dogs, but as fortune would have it, we kind of landed on him. And he was a puppy and so cute. And I think it was less about the breed and more about the connection that we felt with him. And the other dog that we rescued that day was a chocolate lab.
Okay.
So we know we rescued two dogs at one time. Yeah. So we think he is just some sort of lab mix.
Okay.
We've never done a DNA test, but he's definitely a mutt. So.
Okay. And where's the other one?
So sadly, Nala passed away almost 3 years ago now. She was probably around 14 because when we rescued her, she was fully grown. So we don't know exactly how old she was at the time, but she just started a rapid decline. Over the course of, I guess it wasn't that rapid, over the course of maybe 18 months, a lot of issues with mobility and vision, hearing. That was not a fun time. So yeah, so it was Simba and Nala, like from The Lion King. Yeah, so now we're just down to Simba. Yeah.
So your kids named them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So fans of The Lion King?
They were huge fans of The Lion King.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That's good. So what made you get a rescue dog as opposed to buying a dog from, a dog owner or someone else?
Come on, Bo. So I love certain breeds. Like I love Great Danes. I love Bernese Mountain Dogs. But I also think that there are a lot of dogs out there that need homes. And so our first attempt at getting dogs was going to be to try to rescue. Okay. We've heard stories about mismatches, because it's like the dog comes from a background that you don't know. So is the dog going to be aggressive? Is the dog going to have issues? And we had two, elementary school age kids at the time. So that fit was important. So we were going to try rescue first just because we felt like the need was great for dogs who needed a home. So that's how we ended up going the rescue route.
Okay. And what made you get the dogs? Was it the kids or?
Suckered into it. And look who's walking them every day now.
I know, right? Either you or your husband.
Yeah, exactly. We knew at some point we wanted to get a dog. And one of our daughters, who's a huge fan of dogs, she really, really, really kept pressing it. Every time we would see a dog, she would want to stop and talk to it. We would, go over and give water and food to our neighbor's dog when they would go out of town.
How old was she at the time?
She was 5.
Okay. And was it both? I know you have twins. Was
it
both of the girls or just one of them?
Really, one of them was really pushing hard. The other one, I think in her head, like the concept of dogs, but didn't feel as comfortable around them. She didn't bring it up as often. So, here we go. This is the reality of dogs.
Sorry, Simba, we're invading your privacy.
This is number 2 on this walk.
How many times does he usually?
You know what? Usually on a walk he goes twice.
Okay.
Yeah, it used to be 3 times, which
And
we were like,
and
really?
He goes for a walk 3 times a day?
No, we usually take him for a walk once a day, and then we have a pretty
Once a
big,
day?
yeah, we have a big fenced backyard,
Yeah.
and we both work from home, so he goes in and out
Nice. Okay.
pretty much all day. Come on.
So what's a typical day with you and the dog and Simba?
Oh, I was going to finish the question about.
Okay,
Oh,
okay,
sorry.
okay.
Should I go back to that one?
Yeah, go
okay.
back to that one.
So the daughter who was really pushing for the dogs was a thumb sucker, and we had told her to sort of inspire her to stop sucking her thumb, that when she stopped sucking her thumb, that we would initiate the process of looking for a dog. So I've never seen a kid commit to something so quickly. It took her 1 day.
Really?
She stopped sucking her thumb that day. My
know
husband and
it
I were
surprised
like,
you. You're
what?
probably doing it thinking that it wouldn't happen.
We're like, oh, we have at least 4 or 5 years. No, so she stopped sucking her thumb. We started the process, and I dragged that process out as long as I could. I mean, we went to every dog show, dog event, dog parks, rescue events at like Petco in the parking lots, and because I told her, like, this is a big commitment to look for dogs and to figure out what kind of dog we wanted, and to understand like what that process was like and how much work it was, and to buy us some time. Honestly, they were still pretty young, and so we were on our way to a sports practice, and we're in the car, and I was mad that we had taught our kids to read, because she looks on the side of the road and says, dog rescue event this Saturday. And I said, oh no. She's like, can we go? And I swear it was like one of the few weekends we didn't have anything on the calendar. So I was like, I had no excuse. I was like, yes, we can go. And we walked in, and it was this woman who was just hosting it in Olney, and she lived at the end of a long driveway, and the driveway was just lined with lovely dogs from all over, all different breeds. Oh, here's a 3.
Oh, that's the third one.
This is the 3rd one. I guess we fed him too much yesterday.
Yeah, I guess dogs usually, when you go for longer walks, I found out that they kick them.
Oh yeah, they definitely,
Bowels more.
right. Ooh.
She's so calm.
This is 13 years.
Wow.
He's definitely, then I couldn't even get it all. He's definitely calmed down in the last couple of years as he's gotten older. He's a very sweet dog, but he's also like very high energy.
Which match for energy, I'm sure.
Yes, with the kids. He has always had a lot of energy, just a great personality. Sometimes he's a little bit much for people who don't like dogs, but so we went to the rescue event, and the first we kind of wanted a puppy, because you fall in love with puppies. They're so cute. You can kind of train them. And while we were there, there was another dog, the chocolate lab, who just had this instant connection with my husband, Eric. And I didn't envision leaving there with 2 dogs. And when I say we had nothing, I had to put a deposit down for them to hold the dog so we could run to Petco and get like beds and crates and food. Like, we had nothing. I was not expecting to walk away with.
Instant connection. How was it? Was it like, what do you mean by instant connection?
So at rescue events, it can be, there's a lot going on, right? Because you have dogs of all different breeds, sizes. People are falling in love with them. They're barking. They're going crazy. This was the calmest dog, and she just kind of walked over to Eric and just stayed by his side. And he always had this just sort of bond with her. She was a very peaceful dog. He's like, home is that way. Come on, we're going this way.
Like, where are we going? So he's smart.
Yes, definitely a smart dog. And it was just sort of this like quiet connection of her not really wanting to leave his side. And we were like, if she's this calm with this much chaos around her, she's a great dog, And so we had talked briefly about the possibility of getting 2 dogs just because they entertain each other. You know, when we leave the house, they have each other. So we knew that there were some benefits to having
like the
2.
twins, right?
Exactly,
Entertain each other.
exactly, exactly. So we were open to the idea. It wasn't something we were wedded to or had discussed a lot, but we, you know, thought, okay, this could be, you know, a good thing. So we walked away with 2.
She's looking like, okay.
we're
This
we're
is
going.
not-
He's like, this is not the way. You already did this. Yeah. So we ended up with 2 dogs, and
That same day?
that same day, yeah, literally we went, got our
One
stuff,
got 2.
went to look.
Wait to look, exactly.
Come on, buddy, we're going
It's
this
like
way.
go to the grocery store with a list and then you end up getting more stuff.
Exactly. That's what happened. Come on.
So the second one,
Come on.
the connection was also with your husband or with you?
So I think because he was so young, it was more so everyone was just enamored with the idea of having a puppy.
Okay.
And we thought it would be a good combination because one was a little bit older, you know, would be able to kind of like teach him, and she was the best dog ever. Like, we can't believe we got a rescue like that. She was so well trained, the sweetest dog with people, kind of shy. So when we would have a lot of people over, she might retreat, you know, to another room where there were no people. But just a very sweet disposition. Whoever had her before us, we were like, it was a loving home, and maybe something happened to the owner and they just couldn't take care of her anymore. But this is like very odd. He never stops.
He's wondering, like, what's going on? 'Cause is this the route you typically take?
Oh, so this is one of our routes, and then sometimes we do a larger loop in the neighborhood. But we're pretty consistent. Like, he knows definitely this
You
path.
don't go twice.
No.
So that's probably what it is. Like,
He's
okay.
definitely like, but he usually
Expecting
just,
that we already went through this route, so what's going on?
he'll usually just roll with it. But he's a pretty like laid back dog in that respect. Like, if you're walking him.
Yeah. Well, that's good that your daughter was very committed. It tells you her personality now. She's probably a very committed person. When she says something, she does it.
She,
To get my son. I should have waited till 5 to get our dog and do the same thing.
exactly. No, she really, we were shocked, but you know,
Yeah.
she did it.
So did she help out when the dog came home?
No, no, I'm just gonna throw this in the trash. She helped, when they were young, you know, there's just excitement around
Yeah.
a puppy, a dog, you know. But they were also on the smaller side to be able to walk them, especially with Nala, the other dog. She was full grown at that point. And all of our friends who had dogs had told us, like, it's your dog. You know, like, they're going to do some things, but
Another child.
another.
Okay?
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
It's another child.
Yes. Oh, it's definitely another child. So they don't take care of the dogs per se, but well, our daughter will walk with us a lot now, like being home from college, but they bond with the dogs, I think, in a way that we as adults don't.
Okay.
So, you know, there were times when, you know, especially Nina, the one who really wanted the dogs, if she's having a bad day, if something was stressful, if she had a hard practice, she would just come home, and like, a dog isn't going to ask you what's wrong, you know, and grill you with questions. They just come to you. They just, their presence, he's very loyal. And so even now, like, he sleeps in her room, and her room is on the first floor, so he doesn't do stairs, has never done stairs. We don't know what, never done stairs. I mean, if we have to take him somewhere upstairs, he'll do it, but he hates them. And so she didn't want him to be alone, so she moved into the room downstairs so that he can have a buddy. But they formed a connection. And even my other daughter, who was very reluctant when we first brought the dogs home, she would sit with her feet sort of pulled up on the bench because she was like terrified of having these dogs in her space.
I see.
But I think what having the dogs has done is, like, it's made them more comfortable, and the idea of like empathy, you know, like, I remember when we first got them, we were used to kind of coming and going. It's like, no, we got to get home for the dog. So this idea of caretaking for someone or something above and beyond yourself was a lesson that they learned. And now I think it's a great gift because they're both very comfortable around dogs. They both have said that they would like a dog, you know, when they get their own place. And so it was definitely a win-win for the dogs and for us.
Okay. Well, you've answered a lot of the questions, like how has it impacted your life, and but how is a typical day, like from day one when Simba came home? How is your typical daily schedule with him?
It's definitely changed a lot. Like, you know, dogs never become independent in the same way that your kids do, right? You're always going to have a certain level of care.
Yeah.
But I would say now he's just an integrated part of our day and our lives. So he's the first thing usually that we do. And then, well, my husband's really good about working out, so he usually works out. And then we will walk, you know, it used to be 2 dogs. It's now Simba. But he'll hang out with us during the day. And so they really just want your love, attention, affection. But we just were dog sitting for my parents, and they have a 2-year-old dog. And it brought back the memory of, like, it's a lot of work in the beginning. You know, it's just like constant. You have to watch what she's picking up, and did she go to the bathroom? You know, and she's pretty well trained now, but it's like having a baby. You know, they do gain some independence, but you just can never leave them, you know, to kind of launch on their own. So I would say now he's just always kind of a part of the family, whether that's like if we're sitting in the family watching a movie, he's in there with us, or just in the periphery. Sometimes he doesn't necessarily have to be up under us, you know, so he'll kind of go to his own space. So and if you have food, he's always around. So he's waiting for us to, my dad calls it an accident. Anything that drops is fair game for him. So I'd say he's always sort of present with us, and just is so grateful and appreciative of like any time or attention that you show him.
Oh, I see. And does he eat, like what's his food? Does he eat what you eat? Like what you cook from the table, or you? He'll
eat anything, but he eats Iams from Chewy. He doesn't get the Blue Mountain organic dog food. I know some people do that, or the Fresh Pet where they get the, you know, refrigerated meals. No, but he does enjoy. He loves salmon, like, and salmon skin that's left over.
Yeah.
Chicken, steak, you know, any sort of protein is. He loves eggs. Oh my gosh, he like if we boil an egg and we give him the egg yolk, loves egg yolks. Yeah.
Okay. And are there any special rituals or habits or traits that he does? Like any tricks that he does that?
You have any tricks, Emma? No, I don't think he has any tricks. I would say we always joke that if we ever have an apocalypse that Simba's going to survive, because he's very, very, very scrappy. He has that mutt mentality of like, is this my last meal? So we always joke that he is forever protecting us. He's a 45-pound dog, but he thinks he's, you know, 110 pounds. And when he looks in the mirror, I guess this is a funny thing that he does, he's always shocked at how small he is. You know, he's like, who is this dog? You know, because he thinks he's like king of the jungle. So no special tricks.
And for you, particularly, I know you mentioned your daughter, like if she's having a stressful day, she would come to him, he would come to her and kind of like just sit there. How about for you? How has he, give us like an example where he really touched you and it melted your heart. Like, this is the reason why I got you.
So I'm actually getting choked up thinking about this because I did not think we would be as attached to dogs. When we grew up, the dogs were like protection, you know, like they were outside, they were on a leash, chain.
Yes.
And so we were like, if we're going to do dogs, like we want them to be a part of our family. And when Nala passed away, it was rough. It was really hard. And we kind of knew it was coming because she was having that decline, but you're never really like ready. Like even if you have a relative who's been sick, that final goodbye. So I think having him there after we lost Nala was a joy, because it let us continue with the same routines. And I always say, like, Simba walks us. Like, he gets me out of the house. I've met so many people, and I'm naturally like a pretty talkative person, but I have met so many people that I never would have met because I wouldn't have the discipline to just go out every day myself, but I know that he needs that, so he gets me out of the house. So I am grateful for him being around. And you know, when Nala was first getting sick, we knew we were nearing the end when she couldn't walk anymore. And he would look behind like, where's Nala, you know? And so I knew he was acutely aware of his family. And that was just really special for us to know that sort of interaction. I also think that he's made me a little bit less stressed about particulars, because when you have a dog, like, your house is going to be messy sometimes, you know, like you're going to have dog hairs. And, you know, at first I was like, oh, we got it. And then I was like, you know what, like, this is like a losing battle. Not that I don't clean my house, but I think it made me a little less uptight in having a dog in the house.
Oh, that's nice. And how was it when the other one, Nala, when he passed away? When she passed away, did you have to do like a burial? I know some people said they had to find a plot or a place or...
No, we had her cremated, and we thought about it, and I think that was just the best way for us, because we didn't have a place that we were going to plan on going or that kind of thing. So she was not well, so we had a conversation with the vet, and we were going to put her down. And so we took her, and, you know, we brought her home for one more night, and she had like her favorite meal, and, you know, it was hard. You really don't think that you're gonna, but you do.
I get attached.
You get very attached. Very attached.
How did your daughter feel about it?
It was really hard. That last night was emotional. But it was nice because they were at least home. You know, I think it's a different thing if you're like away and a dog passes away.
You have to hear about it.
Yeah. So it makes me a little bit sad and anxious because, you know, he's 13 and, you know, none of us lives forever. So, but he's doing well. He's not showing any signs of slowing down. So.
And what's his lifespan like for him, this breed?
So we were told that for labs, it was like 10 to 12 years is like the average range. So obviously some live to 14, 15, 16, some, you know, a little bit less. But mutts have a longer lifespan because they're not as susceptible to, you know, certain diseases that affect a particular breed. So the vet has told us he looks at their lives, like dogs' lives, in 3 phases. He's like, he's in phase 3. So it's the last phase. We don't know how long that is going to be, but he could go, you know, another several years. That's the hope, because he had a surgery to remove a couple of lipomas, just like fatty tumors, and he recovered exceptionally well from that. That's really been the only health issue that he's had. So he doesn't seem like he's going anywhere anytime soon. So
hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Just a little graying. Yeah.
And what's the funniest thing he's done?
Oh gosh. Funniest. What do you do? He does so many things that are funny.
Or something that has really made you crack up, like, oh my goodness. Did you just do that?
So when he was really little and we were training him on an invisible fence, we knew he was going to have personality at that point. The guy who installed the invisible fence, once the dog has had a couple days to kind of feel it out, you know, he brings his dog back to kind of test the fence out and see if your dog will breach the barrier. And his dog is this like 120-pound Rottweiler. and Simba ran over to this Rottweiler and tried to like take him down. And we just started cracking up because we were like, this dog is going to be fearless for the rest of his life. And the dog was the sweetest dog. He literally had like Simba in his mouth, but like wasn't hurting him.
Okay.
But Simba had no qualms about just kind of going up to him. And he's always been like that, whether it's chasing foxes or deer, rabbits, anything. His zeal for life, the way he goes after everything, it makes us crack up a lot of the time. Because he hasn't caught anything yet, but you would think he had because he is determined to do it.
Like a hunting dog.
Yes, yes. So maybe some sort of hunting breed is in there.
Tell us about the invisible fence. How does that work?
So we had one in a couple different houses. We don't have it anymore. But they come and they basically put a wire underground and the dog wears a collar.
Around the house?
Around the house, around the perimeter of the house. And you can kind of figure out what you want that to be. So ours made an hourglass. So they couldn't loop the house. They had to go through the house. So there was one in the front and one in the back. And it's a way of containing them with giving them like full sight, freedom, vision of what's going on like in the neighborhood. So now he's on a physical fence. Our backyard is totally fenced in now. So we don't have it anymore. But you know, if you're doing like I'm always hesitant to bring him out in the front if he's not on leash, because if he sees something, he might like run after it. He's very friendly, but when we had the invisible fence, kind of like that's that extra peace of mind that he can only go so far.
So once they're near the fence, it shocks them?
Yes, it gives them a buzz.
And it really works.
Oh yeah, it really works. I mean, he was, like I said, more of a challenge to train on it because he was very motivated to get whatever was beyond the fence. But it definitely worked. And we had that for years and no physical fence. So
That's good. That's
yeah.
a good idea. Especially for people who don't really have the time to walk them 3 times or 4 times a day. You can just, if you have a nice backyard with no fence, just put that in. So that's good. And if Simba was to say a sentence to you or a few words, what do you think he would tell you?
He would probably ask for food. Can I have some more food?
I've heard that a lot.
He would probably ask where Nala went, his sister dog. I think that he would say that he loves and appreciates our family, especially what Nina, the time that she has spent with him. Yeah, I think those would be the things that he would say.
Okay. And the last question for our audience, if you were to advise someone who is trying to get a dog, not quite sure, trying to figure it out, like they don't have any experience whatsoever, what would you say would be the pros and cons, like the main things they want to pay attention to before getting the dog?
So I would say you want to think about your lifestyle. I think the biggest con with a dog is the inability to be spontaneous. So, you know, oh, it's a nice weekend at the beach, let's go, you know, and you just have to, you can be creative about it, but there's another being that you are looping into that equation of planning. Yeah. So that was the first thing I when we first got dogs, and especially 2, because it's harder to find somebody who wants to dog sit or, you know, walk them or boarding 2 dogs. So I would have a plan for how you're going to take care of the dog in your absence, right? Whether that's when you're going to work or if you want to go on vacation or travel. I think that's the biggest con for me as a dog owner. But we've figured out workarounds. You find kids or teenagers in your neighborhood, adults who dog walk, relatives who will take them. So there's a barter system, like I'll watch your dog, you watch mine. Okay. So we do that with my parents. Yeah. If your kids say they're going to take care of them, they're not. I mean, they're going to do some of it, but be prepared to, you know, hold a lot of that responsibility, especially if your kids are involved in a lot of extracurricular activities, which ours were. So just logistically, it wasn't possible. They were growing, so am I going to wake them up an extra hour so they can walk the dog? No, probably not. You know, so just be realistic about that. I think on the positive side, it's a great way to meet people. So if a lot of people I think are very lonely right now, and the dog can obviously be a companion for you, but he or she will also be a conduit to other people, groups, connections. You'll meet so many other people. Dogs have very short memories. So if they're having a bad day or if something happens to them, or if you're having a bad day and you're not as attentive, they don't ever hold that against you. They're just so appreciative of the time, energy, love, effort that you show towards them. So I think that was something that I wasn't anticipating, just the loyalty of dogs. And I think it's a great way to help your whole family be a little more active, because they will get you out of the house. Exactly. I owe thousands of miles on my sneakers to walking dogs. And I think that be prepared for that unconditional love and not having to like ever sort of explain yourself. Like when I talked about Nina having a bad day, it's a very safe, comfortable, soft landing for people. And we know lots and lots and lots of people who have dogs, and I think a lot of people feel that same way of, just appreciation for what the dog has given them. Obviously, you're taking care of the dog, but there is that reciprocal care between a dog owner, parent, and the dog, him or herself.
And cost-wise, like monthly, how much, like budget-wise?
So
we're thinking about that too.
He's on one medication right now. He has something called Cushing's, which he has a buildup of cortisol, so they kind of monitor it and control it with medication. So that cost went up. I feel like with dogs, it's like nothing, then it spikes. So be prepared for the vet bill. I remember that. And we had two at once, so that the startup costs I felt were enormous for bringing home dogs. But, maybe budget, just to be safe when you first get the dog, a couple $1,000s. Obviously more if you're buying like a pure breed, but we were a rescue, so it was a couple $100 like rescue fee. But I think between per dog, maybe for that first year, like estimate around $1,500.
Okay.
Between the first vet
month?
bill. No, sorry, okay. For the year. Yeah, for that first year. Okay. Sorry, no. Maybe a little bit more if you factor in like food, but I'm thinking of just like the startup cost of like a crate and the bed and toys, and then the monthly food, and then the vet bills. And like depending on what issues the dog has, like that could go up or down. But we had a couple years where we were spending a lot more, because it's like humans, they say that healthcare costs for humans in the last like 5 years of their lives, it balloons, right, compared to the rest of your life. It's the same thing with dogs. So we spent a lot on Nala the last couple years of her life because she had a lot of issues, ailments. So we had x-rays and vet appointments. And we kind of did that this last year with him a little bit. So we spent more because he had surgery. So I'd say $1,500 to $3,500, but the $3,500 was an anomaly. Okay. It definitely was a spike when he had to have surgery. And getting your teeth.
Oh, and grooming.
Grooming, I'm forgetting some of the costs. Boarding is for us, I think it ends up running maybe $1,000 to $2,000 a year, okay. Just depending on how long we're gone. But then, you might find somebody who can dog sit for you. It might be a little bit cheaper. Okay. So.
Okay. Well, that's not too bad.
No.
Did you have any last minute advice or anything?
I'm a big proponent of getting dogs, especially with the kids. I know it's a lot of work, like when they're young and the dogs are young. But I think it does a lot for your family, just in terms of not necessarily traditions, but like the routine that you create with the dog and your family, and the dog being a part of your family. And having to care for something above and beyond your family. And there are other ways that you can do that, but I think it's been a huge blessing for us to have, you know, not one but two dogs. And you know, when the time comes for him to not be here, we probably will get another dog.
I was gonna ask that, like, after, if you know, God forbid, if anything were to happen to Simba.
Yeah.
It or
No, I think we'd probably not do anything for a little while, but then eventually we'd be like, you know what, we want to get.
We'll be bored, right?
Well,
Your life will be empty, like,
yeah.
okay, having.
And we're empty nesters. Our kids are in college now for at least, you know, most of the year. So having the dog is, you know, another part of the family.
Yeah.
So we would definitely do it again.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Miss Savina.
You're welcome.
If I didn't already have a dog, you definitely sold me. I'll go right now to the rescue and be like, okay, I need a dog. Cause
Just go with a plan.
You brought a lot of positivity and, you know, benefits to it. So we appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck. I hope you get to
And
meet
this
lots
is
of dogs.
A nice breed, as you can tell. She's been calm the whole time. She hasn't even barked. I haven't even heard your voice, Simba. Right?
Oh, say come to my backyard.
All right.
Thanks.
Join the journey, share the love, keep the stories alive.